During the server's peak it was the largest Minecraft Education Edition server, from 400 to 1000. However, as time progressed and the Education Edition landscape changed, the server was damaged beyond repair. People began to leave, and in recent times Drip SMP has discontinued. How did we get to this point? It's January 2022, and despite it being so cold, the sun was still shining, and the creative minds of the Education Edition community were still creating. One of these creative minds was a man known as Moffer, who at the time had just opened his own Minecraft Education Edition server. He needed to differentiate himself from all the other servers. They used a pre-existing server as a sort of boost to get them out there. They brought along JV, one of the most popular people in this community, and me, a penguin, to help him with this server. At the time, creating a server like this was heavily against the monopoly that MEE held. Making a server like this meant war against them, so this server was planned out silently. And so it began. Only a couple days after the idea began, the server was ready. Despite the lack of support and management, it wasn't long before the server saw huge success. Many members flocked from the MEE SMP over to Drip, and as the server grew, so did the problems. The owner of the server, Moffer, had a shady past. Multiple nuking and token logging incidents are to name a few. To stop anybody from talking about him, Moffer began preparing his monopoly, but we'll get to that later. After a while, people became uneasy. The SMP hadn't opened and the account system was slow. Many wondered if this server would really be able to surpass MEE. Despite the odds, Drip SMP continued to prosper, but a decline in activity was showing. Moffer decided it would be best to ally with MEE and try to leech off their members. And if that didn't work, him and JV decided it'd be best to destroy MEE. While their plan was in the works, a certain homophobic Pepe had been demoted, and so I filled the power vacuum and became the new head mod. Now I had a choice to make: pledge my loyalty to Drip or to MEE. I decided to help Drip and MEE, but Moffer took this as an easy access to his backup plan. When I denied joining him in his endeavors, he began justifying himself as a self-righteous person and talking about the atrocious crimes that MEE committed. I denied helping him, and in doing so had just cast myself as an enemy to Moffer's plans. He brought in the homophobic Pepe to Drip SMP after the Pepe was banned from MEE, and then announced that he was integral to Drip SMP. He edited together some screenshots of the homophobic Pepe that shall not be named and framed me. After some back and forth, everybody knew it was fake, but I couldn't prove it was Moffer who edited it. That incident was the end. I put in my resignation and went off to MEE. As soon as I did that, he left this ominous message:
"You're not going with either. You think you can get yourself out of this. Not that easy."
Like clockwork, I was demoted from MEE and banned from Drip SMP. An admin from the server sent me a kind message telling me I was a horrible person for doing this to Drip SMP, and after I showed them some evidence, they realized what really happened. This admin was Melendez, an absolute legend. Mel brought me into talks with the big bad Moffer, and we settled things. I joined Drip back, but the funny thing is he wanted me to say sorry to the homophobic Pepe. Needless to say, I did not do that and instead went on to form the Edu community. Ironically, I owned the server with somebody named Drip. Crazy, isn't it? Now Drip didn't do much. He just had server ownership, so I decided to get work done and built up the server from the ground up. And just like Drip SMP, when we launched, it only took us a day to hit 100 members. 1/5 of the member count of MEE and 1/10 the member count of Drip SMP. We pioneered the space and created trailers and accounts, but Moffer was quaking in his boots. He realized the secret to creating accounts was out. I had learned from the age-old masters on top of Mount Everest, and Moffer was afraid his monopoly was doomed. He decided to enforce his power and told me to give him admin or he'll ban me. I gave him a role that had no perms like the one he gave his good buddy Chris Resi. Right around this time, Drip, just like Moffer, gave me a nice betrayal and gave off the server to Moffer, but here's the funny bit. Moffer felt so threatened about our server, he bullied Drip into giving him the server using the same line:
"I'll ban you from every server if you don't."
As soon as Moffer got the server, he plunged it into chaos, and that server went boom. This is just a small portion of this huge saga. This video detailed the history from January to February, but there is so much more. If you want to see the next video that talks about Moffer's corruption, the Education Edition monopoly, and my own server, then subscribe.